Wealth seeks those who seek it. The journey to building a substantial fortune begins with your own desire. However, is desire alone sufficient to make you wealthy? Frankly, no. Desire in itself neither advances nor retracts. But if you reach the stage where you have a genuine desire for a large fortune, this video will be immensely useful. We will discuss 7 crucial steps that can literally transform you into a person with great wealth. Before you think about the position you are currently in, remember that many were in a far worse situation than you, and yet they managed to achieve massive fortunes. All you need now is to comprehend and apply these 7 principles with persistence. Principle 1. Saving. The first step on the path to wealth is saving. The obvious answer you might give when I say this is, if my income barely covers my expenses, how can I save from it? The truth is, your expenses expand to include the amount available to them. By strictly cutting a portion of your income and setting it aside, your expenses will stretch within the remaining amount. Imagine with me, my friend, if you had a hen that laid 10 eggs every day, but you only took 9 and left 1. After the first month, you would discover you saved 30 eggs. After the first year, you would find you saved 365 eggs. This is a huge number you might not have thought yourself capable of saving. If you truly wish to have great wealth, you must learn the principle of saving. Dedicate 10% of your income, regardless of whether it is large or very small. You must force yourself to save 10% of it. The idea of saving, especially 10%, especially if your income is small, may seem trivial and impossible to bring you anything. For example, if you earn £3,000 a month and decide to save 10% of it, it would be about £300. This amount indeed won't bring you anything. However, in the first year alone, you would have saved £3,600. This number may seem weak and unable to get you anywhere. But remember, the principle of saving is just the first threshold. It isn't everything, as there are other important principles we will discuss. Although it isn't everything, it is the most important. It's the step we build upon. If it's not present, we cannot build afterward. But after a period of saving, and when you have money, these savings become a double-edged sword. They may encourage you to save more, but at the same time, the temptations around you will press you, especially now that we are in an age of consumption, where we consume even if we don't have a genuine desire. Additionally, social media creates a demand for certain purchases we fundamentally do not need. Your role here, my friend, is to resist these temptations. Do not touch this amount no matter what and under any circumstances. Trust me, you will discover something very strange if you stick to this principle. After a certain period, you will find that your expenses have adapted to 90% of your income. If you have a genuine desire to build significant wealth, make sure that your starting threshold is saving at least 10% of your income. But remember, this is not the only principle that will lead you to wealth. It is merely the first principle. The second principle, controlling expenses. There is a person whose monthly income is about £3,000 and another whose income reaches £100,000. Yet, both in the month with no money left. If you ask them, they will say, our income barely suffices. Even though the person spending £3,000 may be responsible for a family of 6, while the one earning £100,000 might only have a family of 3. So how can the outcome be the same? The idea, my friend, is that we confuse 2 completely different things. We must understand the difference between them well if we want to achieve great wealth. The first thing is necessary expenses, and the second is personal desires. The truth is that each of us and our families have many personal desires that can consume any amount of money. Therefore, if we allow our personal desires to expand, both we and our families will find that they stretch to encompass our entire income. No matter how large the income is, it will never be enough to satisfy all our desires. Even the richest people on earth have desires they cannot fulfill due to the extremely high costs. The situation is akin to weeds that spread everywhere if the farmer allows it. Personal desires also grow and reinforce each other whenever there is a possibility of fulfilling them. The reality is that our desires are numerous, but we can only fulfill a few of them. If you have a genuine desire to reach great wealth, you must control your expenses and personal desires, not just for yourself, but for your family as well. Sit down with a pen and paper and try to write down your expenses over the past month. You will discover that many of them were personal desires rather than necessary expenses. Often, you will find certain expenses that can be reduced or even eliminated rationally. Make it your motto at this stage to spend every pound on what deserves it 100%. If you are struggling with your income not being enough, write down all the expenses you incur over the month, prioritizing necessary expenses within the 9/10 of your income. Because as we discussed in the first principle, 10% of your income will be for saving only. After that, you can consider the remaining items on your list as personal desires that can be sacrificed, and you can remain unfulfilled without regretting it. Continue to work with this system and adjust it until it aligns with your needs. Make it the guardian of the 10% of your income that prevents you from approaching it. This may sound to you like you will completely give up any personal desires, thus becoming like a donkey working day and night without fulfilling any personal desires for itself. But remember, my friend, you're the one who sets the budget. The goal of budgeting is to help you obtain necessary things and fulfill some basic desires. But the most important goal is to maintain the 10% savings ratio. This ratio will protect you from the illusions in your mind and shield you from becoming a consumer like most people in the current era. It will protect you from the influence of social media that creates a need for things you originally do not need. The budget will be like a bright light in a dark cave. It will show you exactly where your money is being spent. Thus, you will be able to stop random spending and control your expenses to achieve your big goals. As we stated in the first principle, saving is the first and most important step. Although saved money satisfies the soul and pleases the miserly spirit, if it remains saved and stagnant, it will not yield anything. It is merely the beginning, but the profits that will come from it are what will lead you to achieve great wealth. Consider every pound of money you saved as a soldier or a slave working for you. There is a very important saying I've heard from more than one of the richest people in the world according to Forbes' list. Make money work instead of you, and the best money you can earn is what you earn while you sleep. Investing money is what will turn every pound into a loyal slave working day and night to bring you a pound like it. And this is what will make your wealth grow rapidly. Let's take a simple example. If you have 5,000 pounds and you decide to buy a phone with it after 2 or 3 years, this phone will be old and worthless. But if you decide not to buy the phone and invest the 5,000 pounds, according to the average level of profits at the current period, you will achieve a profit of 5,000 pounds after 4 years. After 4 years, the amount will become 10,000 pounds. And if you invest the 10,000 pounds, after another 4 years, it will become 20,000 pounds. Thus, after 12 years, the amount will become 40,000 pounds. But there is something very important you should pay attention to. Here we aim to grow wealth, not to take investment profits. Because if you add the investment profits to the capital and invest the total amount, it means very rapid growth of wealth. And don't forget the principle of saving. You will continue to save 10% of your income and constantly add it to the investment amount. Thus, you will be like the person who adds employees working day and night to bring him money while he sleeps. Just as determining your expenses will help you save, and as saving will provide you with the first step towards investment, if you are not careful while investing, you may lose all the money you have gathered over a long period easily. Before you invest your funds, you must think about how to protect your capital. When you have a sum of money and think about investing it, you will find many opportunities tempting you to enter them. You will find opportunities deceiving you with large gains. Often you will find someone among your friends or relatives who have entered a project of these projects and strongly advises you to do the same. But do not forget the rule of protecting capital, because the higher the gains, the greater the likelihood of losing the capital. Simply put, the penalty for risk is the likelihood of loss. The fifth principle, increasing earning potential. Trust me, my friend, no matter what profession you are in, there are many opportunities to increase your income from it. All you have to do is to seize these opportunities to reach the highest possible income from your current profession. To do this, there are some important rules you should pay attention to. 1. Set a realistic and clear goal. If your goal is, I want to become rich, that is a vague and unclear goal. But if your monthly salary is £2,000 and you set a future goal to make your salary £5,000, that is a realistic and clear goal that can be easily measured. 2. Observe people in your field who earn much more than you. What are they doing to achieve this high income? Get rid of the thoughts that say they are lucky or have connections. Focus on what distinguishes them. 3. Do not settle for being average in your profession. Push your abilities to their maximum potential to be an outstanding person in your workplace. Whether you are an employee in a company or working freelance, you must continuously develop your skills. 4. Learn from your colleagues and try to benefit from everything around you. Discover your weaknesses and try to strengthen them, and identify your strengths and try to enhance them. This will open many opportunities for you to increase your income in the future. 5. Do not rush the results. Develop your skills regardless of the tangible results you see in reality. As long as you are committed to the rules we discussed, rest assured you are on the right path to building a massive fortune.